everybody, welcome to Campfire Discussions with Brandy. And the title of today's show is What is the Woke's End Game? And I think I'm inching a little bit closer to that answer, and we're going to talk about that tonight. But first, I want to show you guys this awesome set of paintbrushes my husband got me that I'm working with tonight. It's Benici. Look how beautiful. Yes, so they are behind me because I don't have a lot of room, just because I have to have this mic so close to my face. But the first subject we're talking about, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint of things we're talking about, and then we'll start. So we're going to talk about libs of TikTok, of course, because that's one of the hot topics going on. I'm going to show you some videos that are going to alarm you. That most of them came from the libs of TikTok Twitter. That is hard to say. Say that 5 times fast. So there's a couple videos I'm going to show you. We're going to talk about how Amazon has removed all ads of Matt Walsh's book. It's a children's book. We'll go on about that. And then we're going to round it off with some other stuff. Some other crazy videos and some things happening in some classrooms near you. So, to start off, now I have a lot of notes tonight because, first of all, I don't have my TV in front of me, so I have no clue how to act because I'm used to looking at myself when I'm doing this. So, don't mind if I'm a little bit awkward tonight. But I also have a lot of notes because there's a lot to go through. So to start off with libs of TikTok, we all know that the creator of libs of TikTok was doxxed by Taylor Lorenz. Now, Taylor Lorenz, a couple weeks ago, was whining and crying about being doxxed and how people are coming after her. Yet she decided that it was okay to go after this content creator who, just so you know, if you haven't seen what libs of TikTok is, it's a Twitter account that only reposts what other people are putting out there. So if the agenda for this group, we'll call the woke, is to get eyes on their content and get more people seeing it, then there really is no reason for them to be so angry. She's not putting a bunch of commentary on there. She's just reposting what they've already posted. So Taylor Lorenz works for the Washington Post. The person that does, so we're going to dig in a little bit. The person that does the research for the Washington Post, and therefore Taylor Lorenz, is a guy by the name of Travis Brown. And this is according to the Washington Post piece. They put it all out there. And that's how I found it. Also, Tucker Carlson gave me some hints. So he runs something called the Travis Brown Hate Speech Tracker. So apparently this hate speech... I cannot talk tonight. What is going on? This hate speech tracker uses proprietary methods to find out personal and identifying info of those people deemed to be straying from the narrative, which is what they deem extreme right-wing hate speech, okay? Not left-wing hate speech, not all the rioting, but right-wing hate speech. This hate speech tracker is funded by something called Prototype Fund, which talks about how the method that they use is to target specifically right-wing speech. Now, the Prototype Fund, okay, where do you think the money comes from for the Prototype Fund? Well, it comes from the government of Germany. If you look up the Prototype Fund's website, yeah, I said Germany. If you look up the Prototype Fund's website, you will see it listed on there that their money is coming from Germany's Federal Ministry of Education. Wow! So, what happened to this libs of TikTok creator? Her life being ruined, her having to go into hiding. This was done by a foreign intelligence operation intended to silence a private American citizen. Now, we have a lot of questions here. Is this a legal operation? Does the Biden administration know what's going on? And what does a foreign government have to do, and why would they want to shut down a page that simply shines a light on what American teachers are teaching our children.
Awkward.
Interesting, right? I also found it really funny that this Taylor Lorenz lady is going on and on and on about being doxxed when she went in and did all this to this person. Not only that, she went to friends of friends, people that may have had the same last name as this lady, and harassed them to no end, which I thought was really funny when the Daily Wire, Jeremy, I can't remember his last name, but Jeremy from the Daily Wire, he's one of the owners or CEOs or whatever, and Tim Pool came together and put a billboard out in New York Times Square that says, Taylor Lorenz and Washington Post doxed libs of TikTok, just in case people weren't aware of what was going on there. So I'm checking out to see if any of you have any comments so far, because this is just, to me, when I found this out, and Joel found it out first, he saw this, and then he told me, and it was a shocker, you guys. And apparently no one has anything to say about this. That's crazy to me, because when I found out about this, my jaw was on the floor. I was just shocked to no end. To no end, you guys. So one way that we can maybe get the word out. Now, I have a lot more to talk about, but we have to talk about one of our sponsors right now. And I like to paint signs, right? But I have nothing on this company. This company does this amazing sign work, professional sign work for businesses alike. They do magnets for cars and stickers and all kinds of stuff. They're incredible. And the boys were talking about them last night about getting them 1 million signs or something like that, which, you know, they're probably like, stop sending, but call them. They're amazing. We love them to death. They're called Whitney Signs. They're local here in town, but they go all over, and they are the best service ever. So check this video out. Okay, welcome back, guys. So if you're curious about what I'm painting, sorry, my little earphones coming out here. I'm working on the same thing I worked on last week, and you know what? If I don't finish it during the show because I get too crazy passionate about it, I'm gonna have to do this tonight because I keep promising these guys I'm gonna have it to them. But it's for Keelan's Dogs. It's one of our food carts here in town. They're amazing. They're so sweet, and they make amazing food. They are always coming up with new stuff, and we really love having them in our town. So anyways, so I'd like you guys to send in anything that you think is going on there. I'd love to hear what other people's opinions are. It seems really shady that a foreign government, and specifically their education, their Ministry of Education, is involved in what's going on in our country, what's going on with our speech, and trying to stop shining a light on what's happening. It feels really shady, you guys. Somebody said, oh, hi, Christy. Hi, Julie. And why Germany? Great question. So as you're pondering that, you wouldn't believe it, but I have a lot more crazy stuff to show you. So this next thing we're going to look at is a video that I found, thanks to libs of TikTok, that is a lady, and she's explaining how you talk to toddlers, about gender. So let's watch and then we'll talk about it.
So much for that question. I use the term minor attracted.
Wrong. Whoops.
Here's a developmentally appropriate way to talk to toddlers about bodies and gender. You know the body parts that your diaper or your panties or your underwear cover? Those are called privates. Everyone has privates. Private means that they belong to you and only you. In the front, everybody has genitals, but there are different kinds of genitals. Some genitals are called a penis. Some are called a vulva. Others look maybe a little bit like each in some ways, or kind of like neither, or somewhere in between. People with those kind of
Awkward.
genitals are called intersex. When babies are born, parents sometimes guess their gender based on their genitals. They tend to guess boy for babies who have a penis and girl for babies who have a vulva. Sometimes parents guess wrong though, and that's okay. Everybody makes mistakes sometimes.
Awkward.
People whose parents guessed wrong about their gender are called transgender.
Wow. Wow. First of all, why are you teaching a toddler about intersex when that is like very, very minute part of our population? That's like saying you're going to teach them to drive into the ocean. I mean, like, it doesn't make sense to teach them something that's so confusing so early on in life, and then to say that parents guess their gender, and sometimes parents guess wrong. That, to me, that's just setting parents up to be it just sets parents up to not be trusted by their children, first of all. Second of all, why are we talking to toddlers about this? The only thing toddlers need to know is how to use the bathroom, how to wipe correctly, and that nobody's allowed to touch them. That's about it. The rest of it comes later. That's just my personal opinion. I'd love to know what you guys think about that. And I know we're having some, I do want to get into this, and I don't know if I'll be able to today because I got a lot packed into this show. But there's some stuff going on locally here that I'm hearing from fellow moms that are reaching out to me, telling me, as recent as today, about things that are happening in our local elementary school, that it has me very worried. And we're in a small town. I mean, yes, someone needs her head examined, absolutely correct. So if you thought that was crazy, there's another video I wanted to show you guys, and this is in the UK, which we know the UK is a little bit more forward thinking in this area. They've kind of led the way towards this progressiveness. But I found it really shocking that this was even something that they were doing, and pay attention to the fact that they say this is for all ages. So let's watch this video.
My name's Mike. I'm Artistic Director at Tobacco Factory Theatres. I use he and him pronouns. I'm a white man with brown hair with grey bits in. And I'm very excited that the Family Sex Show is coming to Bristol. We have presented 2 productions by the wonderful This Egg in the past. They brought Me and My Bee and Dressed, and both pieces were completely original. Very moving in different ways. They make such powerful work that really connects and inspires audiences. And we're delighted that the Family Sex Show will be on in May. I'm going to hand over to Josie, the Artistic Director of This Egg, to say a little more.
Hello, my name's Josie. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a white woman with dyed red hair, which is half up, half down today.
Seriously?
I'm wearing gold hoop earrings, which are not real because I do not have my ears pierced. I run This Egg, and I have been making and producing the Family Sex Show along with lots of other people over the last few years. If you're watching this video, then you might already have, or you might be thinking about buying some tickets to the show, or you might just be wondering why we thought making it was a good idea. Great question.
Yeah, I'd love to know.
We wanted to make something that came at the topic of relationships and sex in a light way, in a way that would open conversations, in a way that would encourage people to ask questions, and to allow for that space of vulnerability and not knowing and making mistakes. We hope that the show kind of adds to the more creative or alternative relationships and sex education that is out there at the moment in all different forms. And I guess we really wanted to make the show that we wish that we'd had when we were younger, and also part of our adult selves felt like or feels like they need now as well. And mostly, if we know our bodies, then we know our rights.
Hello, my name is Ailey. I'm Programming and Engagement Manager at Tobacco Factory Theatres. I am a white female with brown blonde hair, and my pronouns are she, her. Family Sex Show is a fun and playful show for adults and children
Fun
aged
and
5 and
playful.
up. It offers an honest human sex education that is feminist, queer, non-binary,
Not
inclusive,
surprising.
and sex positive. This show can allow audiences of all ages to feel confident about their bodies, their boundaries, and their sexual health. And we really hope to see you here.
Oh, so, I'm Brandy. I am a white, heterosexual female with brown hair and red natural highlights, and I wear glasses, and my hair is braided, and I'm wearing a pink shirt. And how much detail do they need to give? Like, what is that? I don't understand. We're going, like, this is the thing, like, how many times have we said, you give an inch, they take a mile? They've taken the whole damn planet. I mean, what the heck is happening? And the fact that they think it's a good idea, they're excited about it, and the creepy way they're discussing this and talking about it and promoting it. It's a family sex show that is for all ages, but don't forget, it's feminist and queer and non-binary and sex positive. Ew. I mean, ugh. Okay, so I've got some comments finally. Somebody said, here's a question, what the F? Yeah, my question too. Adults and children, it's a petty playland. Exactly my thoughts. Wokeism has gone so far now that they are normalizing this adult and children having these conversations together, and they're going to normalize interacting together and doing sexual things together. It's going to keep going, you guys. It's going to keep going until we stop it. And the only way to stop it is to stop being afraid of speaking out. I'm telling you, I see people online. I even saw a friend of mine online today talk about how she will not be friends with people that curse. Well, that is the least of our worries, and I love them to death, and I totally respect your wishes, because that's your right. That's your right. That is absolutely your right. But we need to be fighting for our kids, you guys. This needs to be everybody's number one priority, because we have sat down on the job far too long. Somebody else said the only question that needs to be asked are between the two consenting adults. Exactly. Whatever happened to Love Line with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew? They taught young adults the real medical information about sex, not this woke, insane bullshit. And the sad thing is that those two people now are doing the woke agenda, so they've changed their entire tune. And it's really, really sad. Somebody said, and the pronouns stuff, for goodness sake. I mean, yeah, it's honestly getting... I mean, I never thought it would get this far. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. I did say that it's going to keep going and going and going until we stop it, but I thought we would have stopped this by now. And I don't care what your belief system is. Nobody should think this is okay. Quick note. Look up Lady Maga when you get a chance. That's Lady M-A-G-A. And this is a gentleman by the name of Ryan who is also a drag queen, and he is also gay. But he is conservative, and he talks about how he goes out and discusses how, yeah, he's a drag queen, but he's still a male, and nothing is going to change that. And he explains to children only with parents' consent, mind you, that it's just a Halloween costume. It's just a dress up. It does not change who he is, and it doesn't change the fact that our children don't need to be learning about all these things right now. And it's really interesting to see from that perspective. Very similar views, and he's out there fighting just like we all should be, and just like I feel like I am with the show and with what I do locally for our kids. And it's very important, you guys. There's more to go here, but before we do, somebody said when they let religion back in school system, then we can talk about this. Okay, I'm not sure what that means, but yes, God needs to come back. God needs to come back to our country. God needs to come back into our schools. We need to be able to do those things, and that will help. But we still need to have this conversation now, and I don't know if that's what you meant. We need to fight for that, and we need to keep fighting. Somebody else said another pronoun set. I go by LGB and FJB. Yeah. I agree with that. I know some people don't like that because they feel it's hateful, but I see it as the Let's Go Brandon, I see that as saying, we're not falling for your crap anymore. We know you're not for us. You're using this poor guy with Alzheimer's as your front man to do your bidding. And yeah, he's not a great guy either. I don't agree with him. I don't think he's doing the right things, but I also think there's a bigger system behind him pushing this. So Let's Go Brandon to me is not just F you, Joe Biden. It's also, we know what you're doing and we're not going to stand for it anymore. And if you look at it that way, it's not a hateful thing. It's a we need to fight back thing. And that's my 2 cents on that. Yeah, it's getting out of hand. Like, the next topic we're going to talk about is how Matt Walsh, he's a conservative commentator, he's a conservative comedian type, he also is part of the Daily Wire, and he wrote a children's book. Well, now Amazon has removed all ads to his children's book, and I'm going to read what this report says. As reported by Libs of TikTok on Twitter, Amazon held a session for employees to deal with the trauma of Walsh's book landing on the bestseller list. During the meeting, employees strategized on how to demote the book, with some declaring that the book will endanger the lives of transgender children. How would it do that, I wonder? The Daily Wire host announced on Twitter on Wednesday that his best-selling book, Johnny the Walrus, which is what this book is called, I highly recommend it. I haven't bought it yet, but I've read a lot of it. So I recommend it to that point, which challenges transgender activism. Now, apparently it's not appropriate for all audiences. The book was also removed from the children's category and labeled political commentary, despite not actually violating the platform's terms of service. So this is what Matt Walsh wrote. He said they can't take the book down because it doesn't violate their rules. So instead, they'll pull these tricks while pulling the ads, pulling the commercials. That just so happened to conduct this periodic review on the same day that the video leaked of their employees crying about the book. So Amazon later said that its ads for the children's books are non-compliant to creative acceptance policies, explaining that the book was not appropriate for all audiences. So it goes on and on and on and on and on, talking about their reasoning for this. And they're trying to paint Walsh's book as a political commentary and not a children's book. But it's a children's book. This book is a metaphor, okay? So it talks about Johnny the Walrus, and okay, I'll read this paragraph. I was going to try to explain it, but I need to read it. It's very much a children's book. It revolves around a boy named Johnny who thinks he's a walrus. The doctors in the book encourage Johnny's mother to help him transition to become a walrus and suggest that he have his feet cut off. Despite being pushed towards the transition, which is a metaphor for transgender surgery under the age of 18, Johnny's mother eventually comes to her senses and goes against the doctor's recommendations. So that's what this book is about. Now, if we can have books about transgender surgery and doing all these things, why can't there be a book that's clearly a lot more age appropriate? It's all in metaphor form. The adults will understand it. The kids will think it's a funny book. Why is that so inappropriate? But we can have all these things that are indoctrinating our kids going on. It's such a crazy crock of crap, honestly. In addition to banning the ads for his children's book, Amazon has also banned the ads for Matt Walsh's other book, which is called What is a Woman? And if you haven't heard before, he started this whole thing where this movie came out, like a documentary movie called What is a Woman? And he goes around asking people, what is a woman? And you'd be shocked at how many people of good standing and high standing and political movers and shakers can't answer this question because they're too afraid of the woke mob tearing them down, or they're too blinded or brainwashed by this. It's just getting out of hand. It's been out of hand. It's getting worse, you guys. So when I get really frustrated, I like to have a good meal. And that meal, a lot of the time is pizza, because I love pizza. And our favorite place to go have pizza here is called the Hitchin Post. And Miss Valerie and her husband are amazing. Miss Val, as you know, has been on Backwoods Brothers a couple times. She's a huge supporter of our nonprofit, as well as a huge supporter of Estacada and the United States of America in general. She is a patriot, she is a fighter, she is tough as nails, and she provides an amazing atmosphere for your family to go enjoy. There's games and all kinds of things, and it's just the best place to be in Estacada. And if you're visiting or you're close by, come check it out because the pizza really is amazing. So check this video out. Okay, sorry guys, I'm having struggles today. So somebody said, don't forget, Joe Biden has not been innocent for the last 40 plus years in office. Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. So when I say that the Let's Go Brandon thing is about a bigger thing, I'm not saying Joe Biden's innocent. He is not innocent by far. Right now, he's being used because he's already a part of that evil group that doesn't actually care for America, that wants to take America down and create this global thing, which if you didn't know that, that's the plan. And that's why he's been working with other governments, and that's why this Hunter Biden laptop thing is such a big deal to hide and all this stuff. And we could go on and on and on. And also, Joe Biden leaving Americans behind is the biggest mistake ever when it comes to any kind of military op we've ever had. So he's not innocent by far. Somebody else said, if they want this garbage in schools, let it be in a book in the library, not the curriculum. If a kid wants to read something, they can, but not indoctrinate the kids with biased information. That is wrong. And I mean like high school age appropriate. Yeah. I partially agree with that. Honestly, I don't think any of this stuff should be in any schools. I think if these kids want to learn about it, they should. There's plenty of libraries out there. Obviously, I don't know if you guys know this, but like there's the Brooklyn Library, I guess, decided that they're going to make their online library free to anybody all over the country so that they can access these kinds of books that have been banned from other schools and other places, which seems very devious in my mind. I mean, sure, give them, I'm not one for banning books. I'm all for free speech. Don't get me wrong. But the way they're going about it, the way they're advertising this is like, don't tell your parents. We can give you a secret library card and you can access all the information you want. And your parents don't need to know, kind of like how these schools are doing this. And that's where I think it's wrong. Let's be honest about what we're doing. Let's be open and transparent like my husband likes to use all the time. And that's true. The more transparency, the better. And it feels like, dang it, you just don't want to stay, do you? It feels like the secrecy is unending. And that's why this Twitter thing is such a big deal. And I know I'm going off topic for a second. I will come back. But that's why this Twitter thing is such a big deal. It's not because they're afraid of Elon Musk opening up. It's because they're afraid of being found out. They're afraid of Elon Musk bringing in his smart people that are just as smart, if not smarter than, gosh darn it, you are just going to drive me nuts. Than Twitter employees, and find the algorithms that have blocked certain people because they don't like their views. They're afraid that when this platform opens up, they can't funnel the information a certain way. They're afraid that people might make up their own minds. And that is the danger here. So anyways, I have a few more things I wanted to talk about, and I want to make sure I have time for it. So give me 1 second. Okay, so another thing I came across the other day was this parent. Now we're going to bring up the pictures, and since I can't see them, oh, you know what? Maybe I can pull it up. Hold on. I can pull it up on my thing here. So these teachers were teaching this stuff, and it's called furry culture. Now, I don't know much about furry culture, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about it. But there's two pictures. One picture shows the worksheets, and one picture shows what the parent said. So this is what the parent said. I'm actually absolutely shocked and furious right now. My second grade daughter came home with this material. 2nd grade, you guys, 2nd grade. And the school wants to teach kids on how to be furries. I would love to know who was responsible for this decision, and I'm going to see the principal about this the first thing tomorrow. If you don't know what furries is, Google it. It's a sex fetish with animal costumes, and they think this is appropriate to teach elementary school kids about. I'm frankly disgusted and strongly considering pulling my children out of, and they blanked out the school. Parents, beware and keep a close eye on your children's homework. And then the worksheets have something that says Culture Month, and it goes into, like, the first week, they're going to learn about the culture of different countries. The second week, they're going to learn about cultures and youth subcultures like goths and furries. And then third and fourth week, they're gonna prepare exhibits on these. And then at the end, it's Culture Day. And then it talks about designing your own personas, like a furry persona. And there's even a furry word search. Come on, like, are we serious? This is just, like, no offense. Okay, I don't know much about the furry thing. I don't know if it's a sex fetish. I don't know if it's innocent. From what I understand of what's going on, it feels like everything's becoming a sex fetish. So, to me, not knowing, I would rather keep that away from my 2nd grade child. And if you're going to teach kids about this, you need parents' consent, first of all. Second of all, why are you teaching this to our kids? Why do our 2nd grade children need to learn how to become a furry? How is that a culture that needs to be learned in that age group? These are the questions I have. And this is why I'm so hyped up about this stuff. It is getting out of hand. And I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm having all kinds of trouble today. Don't mind me. Somebody said I used to read about all sorts of things like other religions, medical books. I'd even read a book from the evil mustache guy. I think information should be available because knowledge is power. Yeah, absolutely. I don't disagree. Like I said, I'm not one for banning books. I think information should be available. I think it needs to be age appropriate. I don't think that sex stuff, anything involving sex and sex fetishes and genders and sexualities, need to be taught to our young children in any way, let alone in the way that it is, which is indoctrinating them to believe that this is the only viewpoint. I believe that everybody has a right to get information from all sources. And as kids get older, as they go into high school, they want to know about these things, and that's fine. But do it in a safe way, with adults you know that you can trust, that are not going to push you in the direction that they want you to go, but they're going to teach you the morality of stuff. They're going to teach you right and wrong, but they're also going to give you all avenues that are safe. Because a lot of this stuff is leading our kids into not knowing who safe adults are, not knowing where boundaries are, and they're falling into traps online. They're falling into sex trafficking, and they're going down a path that is really dangerous and really dark. So information is power. Our kids need to know these things, but they do not need teachers teaching them at a young age about anything to do with sex. That is dangerous, and that is why we're having this problem right now. And that's my opinion. So you can disagree with me. I'm fine with that. Aren't furries the shit that get stuck in your pants like walking through a field? Aren't those stickers? I've always called them stickers, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm sure in different areas we call them different things. And somebody said, I bet if we went and taught these crazy people's kids about Jesus, conservatism, and common sense, they would melt. Well, we would also be called bigots, racists, and homophobes, and all these things that are not true. See, this is the thing. If information is power, if we want everyone to have the information, then all information needs to be open. You cannot just skew it to one side and cut everybody else off. Now, when they say we're not allowed to give our point of view and our lifestyle and our belief system, why are they allowed to do theirs? That's one of the questions. And that's like when you get into higher levels. When you're in the lower levels, in kindergarten through 5th grade, you know what? Kindergarten all the way up to high school, these kids do not need to be crushed under the pressure of adult decisions, adult conversations, adult problems. They need to be kids. Let's just let them be kids. Stop trying to sexualize our children. And a video I'm going to show you soon is what I'm talking about. Somebody said, is using strawberries during sex called burries? Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure. Moving on. So I also watched this video today, and I don't have the video to show you guys. So if you want to see it, go. If you have a Twitter, which I just signed up yesterday. I've never had a Twitter. I just signed up yesterday because I wanted to get some content from Libs of TikTok, to be honest. And if you have a Twitter, go look up Libs of TikTok, and this video is on there. And it's a gentleman. He's so angry. He's sitting in his car, and he's super angry about the fact that his gynecologist misgendered him. Think about that for a second. His gynecologist misgendered him. Now, this is a biological male who is a transgender female. What? Now, this is a genuine question, and if anybody knows the answer to this, please tell me. What does a biological male need a gynecologist for? Anybody know? Secondly, I've been watching these videos nonstop, and there's a lot of people out there saying that their gender is fluid. It can change from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., and their sexuality can change from one day to the next. How are people supposed to know what your gender is if you don't know what your gender is? How are people supposed to keep up with that? And if they are trying to be supportive and they make a mistake, you make them out to be a monster. If they don't support your lifestyle, you make them out to be a monster. If they do support your lifestyle, and they never make a mistake, they're the only ones that are okay with you. It's crazy to me, because to me this feels like a lot of narcissism and a lot of people who have been taught that they win no matter what, and that in order to be validated, they need everybody else to agree with them and continue to validate them every step of the way in order to function in the society. And that is so weak. It's unbelievable. I don't need anybody to validate me in order to function. I could be walking down the street looking terrible and someone say, "Hey, sir," and I'm not going to even freak out at them. And I'm a biological female, clearly. But I don't need that to be validated that I am who I am. Oh, sorry, I'm a woman, clearly. You must be having a bad day. Oh, well, who gives a crap? Like, when did we get to this point where every other person has to not only read our mind, but also read our changing ebbs and flows of our emotions at every given second? That, to me, is insanity. And it really is. It's narcissistic as heck. Somebody said, if I was still working with kids and one asked me about something like sexual stuff, my answer would be that it is something they need to ask their parents about. Thank you. That's exactly what should be happening in schools. Someone said a damn good looking one too. I'm guessing that was Joel. Thank you. Kelly says, hi dear, how are you? I'm good, and I hope you are doing well. And I saw that you were getting some heat online for speaking your views. Keep speaking out, keeping you. It's gonna keep happening because people are too afraid to be bold and brave and fight this craziness. Keep fighting. We're there with you, Kelly. People are watching the Republican debates right now too. Yes, I know, and I hope they're doing well. So if you are one of those people and you are watching this later and it's not live for you, still send in comments because we will respond. Here we go. So there is a little bit more. Shocker, I know. But before we get to that, let's talk about the fact that our friend Kelly, other friends I know, are getting hate from not only the woke mob, but they're getting hate from conservative friends that should be their friends. Okay? They're getting hate for being bold and stepping out and saying, this is not okay. I will not stand for it. And sometimes I've got to use colorful language, or I've got to be a little bit brazen to do so. Well, you know what that does? It pisses me off. It makes me pissed off. And I'm also a patriot. I think you know where I'm going with this. We have our Pop Squad, which is our pissed off patriot line. It's a great way to show that you are a patriot who's ready to fight back. Check it out. I'm back, I think. Yes, I am. I'm judging it based on my ear, so bear with me, y'all. So, I also wanted to talk about something, and it's segregation that's happening in our schools. So I'm going to bring up this picture on my end, and Joel's going to bring up the picture for you. And, sorry, I'm trying to find it. Okay, so it goes on to talk about, I'm excited, we have a dynamic speaker on campus by the name of blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. She'll be doing a virtual presentation for our students that morning at lunchtime, and we would like to invite you to a special lunch. Pizza and dessert will be served. Your lunchtime is this, and it goes on and on and on. And what this is about is, it says, if we blah, 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 we will be using some of this for our first period presentation. Additionally, she will be doing lunch and learn. 6th grade lunch, African American students. 7th grade lunch, Hispanic students. And 8th grade lunch, 2 or more background students. So what I'm talking about with this is that we are getting to a point, we are segregating our kids to crazy points. I mean, we are segregating our kids by their color. We're segregating them by their gender. We're segregating them by their pronouns. We're segregating them by their sexuality. And we're giving special treatment to those that are considered minorities. This is reverse racism. And this is happening a lot. And it's happening constantly. And it's getting worse. And I just wanted to shine a light on that. There's a lot more to it, and I'm probably going to be talking more about it next week. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a picture of what I'm going to be bringing up next week. And there was another one that I talked about that I'm going to be talking about next week, and it talks about bathrooms. And it goes on to say, and I'm going to bring this up too because I don't think we have the picture for it for you guys, so I need to read it. Bear with me, I'm sorry. I'm unorganized as heck today. Okay, so it talks about that they are giving these different changing facilities, these different bathrooms for transgendered or non-binary. And the school put out a statement that said some students may feel uncomfortable with a transgender student using the same-sex segregated restroom, locker room, or changing facility. This discomfort is not a reason to deny access to the transgender student. School administrators and counseling staff should work with students to address the discomfort and to foster understanding of gender identity, to create a school culture that respects and values all students. Now, I don't know about you, and I will be going into a lot more detail on these subjects next week. I don't know about you, but offering to counsel those who are not comfortable with male genitalia in the female bathroom is asinine. And you're telling these students that are not comfortable with it that something is wrong with them and they need to be counseled and indoctrinated and re-educated into not feeling that way. But when a student over here who is a part of the 0.02% of the whole population says they misgendered me, somebody gets fired. There's no balance. The pendulum has swung and it is so off balance, it's not even funny. Somebody said, Kelly said, thank you, I've been ridiculed by liberals. I was told that I'm not a Christian and etc. These 2 women were liberals. These women are rude to me and others. They're no longer my Facebook friends. I'm so sorry for that. I just saw a little bit of the feed and I wasn't sure what was going on, but I know lots of us are getting heat from both sides. Family members, friends, people that should be up by our side. And I'm sorry, you guys, I might go a little bit late because I have a few more things to show you. So hopefully you bear with me. And again, if you're watching the debates, more power to you. I wanted to watch it tonight, but I can watch it later. And you guys can watch me later. And that's the beauty of the internet. That's one of the good things. So now we went over I must have missed the video. Sorry guys, I'm talking to myself here. So I've got 2 more videos to show you. The first one talks about classroom language, and this teacher is talking to other teachers about how they can clean up their language to make it more appropriate or more accepting, more all-encompassing. So let's watch this video, and then we're going to talk about it.
Our classroom, we need to be a stickler for inclusive language in any conversation, and especially in the content that we teach. I'd like to give some examples from my content, which is science. I've mostly taught biology, and when we're teaching about life and living things, we need to be clear that we're including all living things, including all people in that. So I want to offer one resource that I'm going to drop in the chat from my website. So me and two other trans-identified high school teachers put together a language guide. Our site is called genderinclusivebiology.com. And some things that we come up on a lot are, for teaching about cell division or reproduction, a lot of textbooks, a lot of existing teaching will say, well, women produce eggs. Males are more likely to be colorblind. The mother carries the fetus for this many months. And some ways that we can show our support for trans and non-binary students are just to clean up that language, be more precise, be more accurate, and be more inclusive. So I would say, no, it's not women that produce eggs, it's ovaries that produce eggs. That's accurate, that's precise. We're acknowledging that not all women produce eggs, and also not all egg producers are women, for example. And we're teaching students that language matters. We're not just talking about imaginary people and living things, that our language impinges on the people in our classroom and in our community.
Unbelievable, you guys. I'd like to know what you think about that. Not all women produce eggs, which is true, but not all people who produce eggs are women. I'm very confused by that. And if I'm confused by that as an adult who has been through a lot of schooling, who had to do a ton of anatomy and physiology and biology and all these things, because way back many moons ago, I was a pre-med student, and after that, when I quit that first year in, by the way, I quit university first year in because of the indoctrination that was happening back then, but that indoctrination was getting God out. And then I went to school for massage therapy, and I had to learn a lot about that. Now, if I'm confused as heck and have no idea how to wrap my head around that, how are kids going to see this? How are they going to understand this? And how are they going to know how to even approach these things? It just makes no sense. It makes everything so much more complicated. Just like those people in the other video that were introducing themselves as white, male with brown hair, heterosexual, green eyes, wearing my hair half up, half down. Like, come on, man. How many qualifiers do you need? I'm going to read some comments, and I've got one more video to show you, and it's very short, I promise. But it is a sample of where our world is headed. So these comments are, these people who claim this have mental disorders. Males stick with the males' bathroom. Females stick with the females. I'm getting heat too as well. I'm sorry. That's just terrible. And yes, I agree 100%. I told them I love God and all, but I will not put my wholeheartedly with... I will put my heart with God and Jesus. Not all Christians are perfect. That is true. Not all Christians are perfect. Transgender cannot have kids. Well, they say they can, like the pregnant man emoji, which is reality is a female who wants to look like a male but is still biologically a female, is having kids. Unless they are alien or outer planets. Truth. So there's a lot to go on, and I know, so I'm sure you guys have recognized that my hill that I will die on, as they say, is fighting for our kids. I will fight for our kids, not just because I'm a mom, but because I believe our kids are innocents, and they are beautiful, and they are so important and beautiful in a very normal way, not in the crappy woke way that they're talking about. Our kids are our future, and it is so important to fight for them because they are growing up with mental disorders, they're growing up with depression, they're harming themselves, they are hurting, And this is happening more and more, and this is getting worse. And it's because they are so confused. They don't know what end is up. They don't know who to trust. They are being told not to talk to their parents. They're being told not to talk to these people. They're being told that God doesn't love them. They're being told that they need to intrinsically hate their own bodies. And this is where I draw the line. And so this video I'm going to show you, and then we're going to end, is, I'm just going to put that down. This is a little tiny hint of where we're headed. This gentleman is fighting for something that is disgusting, in my opinion. He's fighting for the right of pedophiles to be called what they want to be called, which is minor attracted persons. Watch this video. Joel's getting it. It's the first video, Joel.
So much for that question. I use the term minor attracted person or MAP in the title and throughout the book for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. And MAP advocacy groups like Before You Act have advocated for use of the term MAP. They've advocated for it primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms.
It needs to be stigmatizing.
A lot of people, when they hear the term pedophile, they automatically assume that it means a sex offender. And that isn't true, and it leads to a lot of misconceptions about attractions toward minors. I've definitely heard the idea that you brought up, though, that the use of the term minor attracted person suggests that it's okay to be attracted to children. But using a term that communicates who someone is attracted to doesn't indicate anything about the morality of that attraction.
Notice he didn't say anything about it, the morality of that attraction either. Notice he didn't say anything about it being wrong. Notice he said they deserve to be called what they want to be called. And there's advocacy groups for these pedophiles. I'm sorry, it is pedophilia. They are pedophiles. They are not minor attracted persons. They are pedophiles, and it is sick and it is twisted, and this is where we're headed, you guys. This is getting worse. This is, before you know it, there's going to be parades for MAPs, is what they're called. There's going to be a flag for them. They're going to be a part of this woke craziness. They are going to have more rights than you and I, as myself as a heterosexual female, white specifically, which there's a lot more to me than white, but because I look white, I am white, thanks to Whoopi. We have no rights anymore. We need to fight. We need to fight, you guys. It's getting really gross. And there are a few comments about this. Someone said, show me one man that produces eggs. You don't buy a rooster and expect it to give you eggs, or perhaps they can go ahead and milk a bull. I'd pay to see that. Amen. Whoever said that, absolutely 100%. Someone said pedophiles are sex offenders. There is a hole in the ocean for those kinds of people. I 100% agree. I don't give a crap how they try to spin it. I don't care if they say they're non-offending pedophiles. It doesn't matter, because these people have been known to go from having that attraction to looking at CP, which is child porn, to offending. And whether you've offended or not, pedophilia is very, very sick and twisted. And until people say, you know what, if you have that attraction, if you have that, it's something wrong with you, you need to get help. Until we can say that, then something is very wrong here. I don't give a crap if you offended or not. There's something seriously wrong about that. And you need to get right with God, and you need to fix that. You need to get counseling. We don't need to get counseling to get comfortable with it. They need to get counseling to fix that. Sorry. Anyways, so this is where I'm headed, you guys. I'm going to continue talking about our kids. I'm going to continue fighting for them. Yeah, I'm going to lose friends because some of my opinions are not popular, but it's okay to not be popular when you're fighting for what's right. So thank you guys for joining me. I know there were other things you could be doing tonight, and as always, I am so grateful for you. Check out our merchandise. Check out all the lovely things we have going on. Check out our BS project coming up soon. I know we missed this week because the sound didn't work out, but we got some new stuff, and we're looking for some new shows that are going to be pretty awesome. Check out the Ridiculous coming out soon, Breaking News coming out soon, and as always, stay safe. I love you guys. God bless, and have a good night.